Now, I already explained in a previous video why Japanese people care so much whether or not Yasuke was a real samurai or not. And to sum it up is due to the fact that they are looking at America because they do have access to the internet, and they are seeing how the new generation of people actually despise their country and they despise their ancestors. You have people in the United States that believe that everything about America is systemically racist. Everything that their ancestors did was also racist. So, like, there is absolutely nothing good about the nation state. And the reason they think this is due to an ideology which is incredibly divisive. It breaks apart families. It destroys tradition. And it does all of this. So the question is, like, how did Americans come to believe this? Like, why is this a thing? And you can notice that the reason it is a thing is due to the academia, due to the schooling system, but also due to the entertainment that Americans consume. So video games like Assassin's Creed, movies, TV shows that contain the woke message. These are the things that Japanese people have noticed. I mean, they are not blind, and this thing has been going on for decades. Most people around the world right now are aware of the cultural battle that is happening in the US. So when they see a video game like Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed, they actually take it seriously. It actually goes all the way to politicians because Japan is a very traditional country and they don't just respect their ancestors, they actually worship them. So any ideology that would come on and try to suggest that your ancestors are evil or that your nation state is the problem is going to get vehemently rejected by Japan. They are going to treat this very seriously. And Japan is not the only country. Like, you can see the same happening with Cleopatra and Netflix when it comes to Egypt. Like, the Egyptian authorities actually took that very seriously. So this is why Japanese people are making petitions. This is why they're taking this game not as a joke, not just as a piece of entertainment, but they're actually engaging with it because the idea is that Assassin's Creed is a game that's rooted in history, that Ubisoft has a team of historians that analyze and try to recreate historical figures. And it actually did a good job. Like when Notre Dame caught fire and burned down, the architects that were tasked to reconstruct the cathedral, they actually used Assassin's Creed because the model of Notre Dame from the video game was incredibly accurate and up to scale. But lately, they don't care about that. Lately, they care more about the message. So it's not just Ubisoft, right? Like, it's an army of journalists, it's Wikipedia, it's an army of activists. Like, all of them are trying to now push the idea that Yasuke was a samurai. And the thing is, like, they may not even be correct. From what I gathered on Wikipedia, if you go and you ask them for sources, they will outright ban you. They give you, like, a permanent IP ban. And most of the sources that they do have comes from a Western book writer by the name of Loxley, I believe. And he admits that he made most of the things up. He made a book and he wanted to sell it. So he himself, back in the day, went on Wikipedia and modified some articles in order to make it make sense. But he didn't expect this. Like, he didn't expect that this is going to become a cultural thing. He was just trying to sell a book. So now he deleted his social media, is disgraced. And that's where the controversy kind of ended. Like, most people were saying, well, you just have like one Western historian that is saying this. There is no Japanese historian that agrees with you. Until recently, right? You got this historian that comes out, Mr. Hirayama, and he's basically trying to defend the fact that Yasuke was a samurai. So all of a sudden, all the leftists are like, look, see, like, you're all a bunch of bigots. Like, there actually is a Japanese historian. So people started looking into it, and Japanese historians also started criticizing him to the point where now his social media presence is silent because he couldn't answer all of the criticisms that he got. But more importantly, he seems to be a member of the Communist Party in Japan. Surprise, surprise, right? So, like, the only person that is actually a historian from Japan and is defending the claim that Ubisoft is making happens to be a Marxist. But it goes even deeper than that. People have looked into his social media, and they noticed that he actually works for a PR company. The PR company is called Pony Canyon, a music and entertainment company to promote Japanese culture through entertainment, and also a PR media site trying to globalize to the West. So as you can see, Pony Canyon, whose management plan is cross the border, has petitioned 2024 as the first year of globalization. The event was attended by a standing room only crowd of people from the music and animation industry in the United States and abroad, as well as members of the Japanese and the United States press. So, can you guess who the shareholders are? Well, of course, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, and all the other good shit. And more interesting than that, BlackRock owns 8.3% of Sony, and they're also the biggest ownership of Sony and the institutions. So there is a little bit of a conflict of interest with our brave historian, which could not face the criticism of his own peers, basically suggesting that if you just get a sword, then you become a samurai, and as other Japanese people are pointing out, that if that's the case, then merchants become samurai as well. Other people pointed out that he's watering down the definition. This is something that Marxists absolutely love to do. That this is like their favorite pastime activity of using the same definition but changing it in a way so that some people think of something when they hear the definition, other people think of something else. So here you have this person saying this is no different from the situation of colonial scholars who give their stamp of approval to a colonial historical perspective that is being trumpeted and consumed outside of Japan. Why are they so eager to show off their academic expertise to Japanese people when they have nothing to say to English-speaking people? I think that's because they can be superior when competing against Japanese people. And the brave historian says that he is tired and he will go back to work. He cannot do this. This is, again, the staple of the left-leaning activist who is constantly tired. I don't understand why that is, but you probably saw on Twitter, you know, like this activist, usually a brave lady, stunning and brave, and she's like, I am so tired. I am so tired. Well, at least this Japanese person actually went to sleep, so he may be revitalized, rejuvenated tomorrow. He did get a lot of criticism and questions from his peers and other academics. Didn't seem to do a good job at answering even half of them. But the thing that I like is that they didn't expect this, right? Because a lot of these woke ideologues, like, they like pushing their message through entertainment. So they like pushing it through video games. Or like, as you saw, it was through music, through whatever. But they try to push the vehicle through something that seems harmless. It's something that no one would stand against. Oh, well, they're covering the chest of a female character in a video game. Who's going to complain about that, right? Like, it's ridiculous to complain about that. All they're doing is they are demonizing heteronormativity, but like, it's insidious, and anyone that tries to defend that, then they must stand for porn, right? Who's going to complain about Yasuke? I mean, it's a fictional video game. Are you actually going to go out of your way to argue if he was or wasn't a samurai? Like, are you some sort of racist? Right? So, like, this is what the plan is. It's like to use things that are innocuous, that no one is going to defend. But people have caught on. Like, that strategy has been nerfed. We are living in 2024. Most people have access to the internet. They actually do see the consequences of the promised land of progressive ideology, right? Like, they can see what's in California. They can see how New York requires to actually summon the military to guard their metro. They actually see that when the promise of progressive ideology happens, you do not get the land of milk and honey. And they also notice how the progressives gain power. So now there is actually a bulwark on the internet from other countries. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but by God, people are actually fighting against it, and they are not allowing it to stand. So let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.